For Victor, mornings began in chaos with his triplet boys, Theo, Leo, and Milo, turning their small apartment into a whirlwind. The boys were his world, even though their mother had vanished years ago, leaving him to navigate single parenthood alone, juggling breakfast and school drop-offs. Victor's unwavering love for his sons helped mask his growing doubts about their true paternity. It was a life of routine mixed with endless love, but shadows of uncertainty loomed larger every day. Then, one ordinary day, Victor found something that would change everything. Victor wakes up to another chaotic morning. The triplet boys, Theo, Leo, and Milo, racing around the small apartment with unflagging energy. "Guys, slow down," he calls, but they're already sprinting from room to room. One moment, Milo's searching for his missing shoe. The next, Leo's attempting to pour cereal all over the counter. Theo bursts into the bathroom, yelling, "I need to pee." Victor sighs. Today will be no different. He hastily prepares their breakfast while rushing to get them ready for school. The clock ticks loudly, reminding him of the time crunch. "Theo, put on your socks." "Leo, stop that." Victor scrambles eggs and toast onto plates, barely keeping up. Milo tugs at his shirt. "Dad, I can't find my homework." With a deep breath, Victor juggles frying pans, school uniforms, and brushing his own teeth. Yet, chaos continues. Despite the overwhelming tasks, his bond with the boys is palpable, their laughter and playful antics bringing a brief smile to his otherwise tired face. Leo crashes into Victor with a tight hug. "Love you, Dad." Victor tousles Leo's hair. "I love you too, buddy." In those fleeting moments, the weight of the morning's chaos lifts. Theo and Milo join the hug, oblivious to the clock ticking down. It's moments like these. Victor reminisces about their mother, who left suddenly a few years ago without any explanation, leaving him alone to raise the boys. Her absence is felt every day, especially during these morning rushes. "Dad, do you miss Mom?" Theo asks quietly. Victor pauses. "Every day, kiddo." No explanations were given, no reasons why she vanished. Just a note, a vague promise of return that never materialized. He shakes off the memory, focusing on the boys. The pain of her departure still lingers, and the strain of single parenting is starting to affect his work performance. Colleagues notice his distractions, the tired eyes. Even his boss has started to drop hints. "Dad, are you okay?" Milo's voice breaks through his thoughts. "Just tired, champ," Victor responds, ruffling Milo's hair. Yet the office pressures add to his load daily. Each night, he wonders how much longer he can keep up. As the boys finally leave for school, Victor promises himself that they will have a better future. Waving goodbye, he whispers, "Things will get easier, I swear." Watching their small figures disappear into the building, he felt a pang of determination. The promise isn't just for them but for himself, a vow to break free from this exhausting cycle. "One day," he mutters, locking the car door and starting his own commute. At work, Victor's boss calls him into the office to discuss his recent decline in performance. "Victor, I've noticed you've been struggling," she begins. He adjusts uneasily in his chair. "Anything going on at home?" Victor hesitates, but nods slightly. "It's been tough, juggling everything." She leans forward, her tone softening. "I understand, but we need you at your best. Maybe consider some time off." He nods, trying to reassure her and himself. The concern is evident, but Victor assures her he's handling things and promises to improve. "I appreciate your understanding, really. I'll get back on track," he says firmly, knowing deep inside it's easier said than done. "All right, just take care of yourself," she replies, giving him a supportive smile. He exits her office with renewed determination. He knows he has to find a balance, somehow. Failing isn't an option, not for the boys. Feeling the weight of this new pressure, he heads back to his desk and buries himself in his tasks. The stack of paperwork seems endless, each document a reminder of his mounting responsibilities. Emails ping one after another, but Victor's focus is unwavering. Hour after hour, he chips away at the pile. All he thinks about is getting home to the boys, their smiling faces giving him the strength to keep going. Lunch break provides Victor with a brief moment of peace. He sits at his desk, unpacks a sandwich, and glances at the photo of his boys on his desk. Victor sat on the park bench, his son's laughter rippling through the playground. Theo, Leo, and Milo climbed, swung, and ran. Joy was infectious, innocence a balm to his frayed nerves. It was for these things that he made his sacrifices worthwhile, these transient instants of pure happiness that somehow seemed lighter than the weight of his responsibilities. As Victor waved back at Milo high up on the swings, he knew his fight was for them, for the laughter, the futures of both boys, and for their boundless energy. Later that evening, working his way through the day's mail, Victor reached a letter from Theo's school. It was with a sinking feeling in his heart that Victor read about Theo's behavioral issues. It was a confirmation of what he had suspected, but had hoped wasn't true. Theo had been withdrawn and disruptive, and now Victor couldn't ignore the signs. The concern gnawed at him, making it hard to focus on preparing dinner, as his mind whirled with questions about how to help his eldest son. The next day, determined to address the issue, Victor met with Theo's teachers. They shared with them that Theo was no longer participating in class, that his fights with peers became a frequent thing. Victor listened, nodded, but inside, he felt overwhelmed. When he got home, he tried to speak with Theo, taking him to the side gently to ask him what was wrong, but he did not say a word. His small shoulders hunched and his gaze fixed on the floor. The gulf between them was insurmountable. With Leo and Milo arguing playfully and loudly, as they always did, it was chaotic enough this evening, further giving Victor feelings of insufficiency. Sometimes, he felt managing 3 boys all by himself was impossible. He knew he couldn't give up, though there were times when it felt relentless. He retired that night after the boys were asleep, releasing his frustrations onto the pages of his journal in the hope it would clear his thoughts. The next day brought a rare reprieve when his neighbor offered to watch the boys for a few hours, and the grateful Victor made his way to a nearby cafe to meet his old friend Mark. Over coffee, Victor confided in Mark about his struggles, including the lingering doubts about the boys' paternity. Mark's suggestion of a paternity test planted one of those seeds of thought that Victor wasn't ready to entertain. Yet it lingered long after their conversation had ended. While Victor tried to push these thoughts aside and live in the present, the conversation replayed, and the questions which did not get answers nagged him to his core. He ran into Susan by accident at the grocery store. She is his ex-partner's sister and tried getting some information out of her regarding her son's departure from Moscow. Victor felt suspicion build up due to the vague statements made by Susan. Victor came away from the exchange feeling frustrated and upset but got little else. All that night Victor pored over old photo albums and letters for clues. Every picture, every letter of correspondence seemed to mock him with memories that gave him no answers. His sleep was fitful, filled with bright dreams, haunted by images of his ex-partner. In one, she leaves an unreadable note on their kitchen table before disappearing, leaving Victor with a rising sense of urgency in pursuit of the truth. Smitten by the weight of these dreams, Victor resolved to dig deeper into his ex-partner's past. He reached out to old friends and acquaintances, piecing together fragments of her life. Conversations revealed details he hadn't known: her distance in the months before she left, the mysterious phone calls, and her frequent absences. These revelations added layers to the mystery, fueling Victor's determination to find answers. It was only during a meeting with the family friend Hannah that one startling detail came to light. His ex-partner had hired a private investigator in the months leading up to her departure. Victor was speechless with this information. For what could she have been searching, and why was it necessary to keep it behind his back? The situation had just become more complex, as this revelation created more questions than answers. Victor pressed Hannah for more, and she, after some hesitation, told him that his ex-partner had been abnormally secretive and paranoid. Victor couldn't help but feel that whatever she was hiding was somehow connected with her decision to leave. The idea that she had sought answers through a private investigator made Victor wonder if her departure had been prompted by something she discovered. Piecing these fragments together, Victor found himself no closer to why she had left or what she had been seeking. The weight of uncertainty weighed heavy upon him, but he knew he couldn't stop now. The truth danced just out of reach, tantalizing and elusive. And so back at home, the lads remained his anchor, since their laughter, frequent tussles, and diminutive displays of affection often snap him out of such depressive states. Victor again took a vow to start again. Not for his good, but for Theo, Leo, and Milo. This needed answers, stability, no chaos, and a father never yielding for them, however stern the voyage of life was. The weekends were chaotic, yet crystallizing amidst the mess of toys and the noise of three energetic boys. Victor found fleeting moments of peace. He watched Theo, Leo, and Milo with a mixture of pride and worry, knowing that the answers he sought would shape their future as much as his own. The journey ahead felt daunting, but Victor knew he couldn't let fear stop him. It was in the silences after the children went to bed that Victor succumbed to his phantoms. Mark's suggestion of a paternity test reverberated in his mind. Could he handle the truth, be it one way or the other? The questions festered, but his resolve to be the best father, he could remain strong. Even as the terrors of his past well and truly loomed large before him, Victor focused on his boys, determined to push forward. What Victor didn't know, until Hannah made the revelation, was that a private investigator had been hired. Why would she do that? He muttered to himself, his mind heavy with the secrecy that weighed upon him. He immediately phoned the investigator and scheduled a meeting. The folder that he was given had scribbles of cryptic notes and blurry photographs, each serving only to deepen the mystery of his ex-partner's actions. Victor became increasingly baffled, yet increasingly determined to learn more. At the boys' school, a parent-teacher conference revealed that Theo wasn't the only one struggling. Leo and Milo were also showing signs of distress. The realization hit Victor hard. All three of his boys were silently hurting. At the counselor's suggestion, he reluctantly agreed to try family therapy, hoping it might provide a path to healing. "We're going to talk to someone who can help us," he told the boys, masking his uncertainty. Meanwhile, Victor was growing increasingly exhausted. One day, he passed out at work and awoke to the concerned faces of colleagues. A hospital visit confirmed he should rest, but Victor wouldn't hear it. "I can't slow down. My boys need me," he insisted. The warnings did little to change his head-spinning pace, and he tried to keep the health scare from the kids so they wouldn't worry. As days turned into weeks, Victor spent his nights poring over the investigator's files. Every document brought more questions than answers. Discrepancies in dates and locations suggested his ex-partner had been living a double life. Her frequent absences now seemed calculated. The thought of her secret life filled Victor with dread, but he pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. One evening, Victor found a bank account in his ex-partner's name. The transactions showed a life he did not know, with entries at regular intervals even beyond her supposed disappearance. "What is this?" he whispered, shaking his hands. Each entry felt like a betrayal, deepening his resolve to confront the past. He was reeling as the deception unraveled before him. Victor confronted the bank with questions of the hidden account. The representative confirmed the transactions were hers, further validating her secret life. Overwhelmed with rage and sorrow, he was taken aback. Every discovery painted a picture of a woman he barely recognized, making him question everything about their life together. The truth was unraveling, but at a heavy emotional cost. The more he learned, the more Victor was afraid. What if this changes everything? He thought, the weight of his discoveries threatening to upend the fragile world he had built for his boys. Yet he knew he couldn't stop. Every clue brought him closer to understanding, even as it risked shattering his family's foundation. Later that night, Victor watched the files from the investigator and the bank statements. The weight of the truth was slowly sinking in. Cheerful, trustful, loving. His boys danced across his mind. But would he be able to be with them anymore, like an immovable rock in the tide, when some truths emerged? Great as the burden was, his love for them was greater. Even as his way ahead was shrouded in cloud, Victor determined he had to push on. For the boys, he was to find the answers at any cost to himself in pain. He still felt there was a long way ahead, but was still hopeful that the truth would set them free. Exhausted but resolute, Victor knows he can't give up now. The boys need him to be strong, even as everything falls apart. Sitting in his car, he takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself. I have to keep going, he mutters. The truth is within reach, but it's buried under layers of lies. Victor's mind races with thoughts of what he might uncover next. There's no turning back. He's in too deep. The breaking point comes when Victor receives an anonymous letter hinting at a crucial meeting point. Sleepless and weary, he almost misses the envelope mixed in with the regular mail. The letter's contents are vague, but suggest he meets someone at an old cafe on the outskirts of town. Who sent this? He wonders aloud. The letter rattles him, but also fuels his resolve. He knows he has to follow this lead. Despite his better judgment, Victor decides to follow the lead. That evening, he drives to the old cafe mentioned in the letter. Parking outside, he takes a moment to gather his thoughts. This might be it, he tells himself, stepping out of the car. The cafe's dim lights cast long shadows, adding to his sense of unease. He walks in, scanning the room. At a corner table, he spots an old acquaintance of his ex-partner's. Sitting across from the old acquaintance, Victor feels a mix of anxiety and anticipation. It's been a long time, the man says, his eyes shifting. Victor nods, keeping his tone firm. I need answers, he states. The acquaintance hesitates, but eventually starts talking. She wasn't who you thought she was, he begins. Piece by piece, he provides information that fills in gaps and raises more questions. Victor listens intently, piecing together the fragmented puzzle. The acquaintance reluctantly admits that Victor's ex-partner had been in a complicated relationship with another man before she left him. She was always conflicted, the man reveals, sipping his coffee. Victor feels his heart sink. Who was he? Victor demands. The acquaintance shakes his head. I don't know much about him, just that he was someone from her past. The information hits Victor like a punch to the gut. Everything he knew was crumbling apart. The truth hits Victor like a sledgehammer when the acquaintance hands over documents, revealing the boy's true parentage. This is the proof, the acquaintance says quietly. Victor's hands tremble as he flips through the paperwork. DNA results, correspondence, all confirming his worst fears. They're not mine, he whispers, the words choking in his throat. The weight of the discovery crashes down on him. His world, everything he believed, was built on lies. With the boys fast asleep, Victor sits at the kitchen table, the documents spread out before him. The room is quiet except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. He fingers each paper cautiously, his mind reeling from the earlier revelation. This was a moment he had dreaded, and it was finally here. He couldn't avoid it any longer. Victor picked up the final document, bracing himself for what it confirmed. Tears blur his vision as he reads the final lines, confirming that Theo, Leo, and Milo are indeed not his biological children. His breath catches in his throat, and the room seems to close in around him. Each word on the document is a dagger to his heart. He wipes his eyes, trying to steady himself. He'd raised them. They were his world. The agony of the truth is almost unbearable. The revelation is earth-shattering, but Victor realizes that his love for them transcends blood relations. He thinks back to countless bedtime stories, scraped knees, and uncontrollable laughter. Victor's hands shake as he puts the documents aside. They're still my boys, he whispers, determined. Blood may not bind them, but love does. He rises from the table, the weight of the documents replaced by an unwavering resolve. The love they share is undeniable, unbreakable. As the enormity of the truth sinks in, He decides to confront his ex-partner, now more determined than ever to find her. He can't let this betrayal go unanswered. Victor pulls out his phone, scrolling through old contacts, looking for any clue to her current whereabouts. "I need answers," he mutters. Time for being passive is over. He vows right then to track her down, to confront the person who upended his life. But the love he has for the triplets guides his decision. He resolves to be the best father they could ever have, regardless of the DNA. Victor looks at the sleeping faces of Theo, Leo, and Milo, feeling an immense surge of emotion. "You're my sons," he whispers. His heart anchors him, holding his love for them above any other revelation. He knows he must focus on their future, their happiness, above all else. The story closes with Victor tucking the boys into bed, whispering words of love and reassurance, solidifying their bond forever. "Good night, my boys," he says softly, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Theo stirs, smiling in his sleep. Victor watches them for a moment longer, feeling a peace and determination he hadn't known before. He stands, turns off the light, and closes the door gently. Their bond, strengthened by love, is unbreakable. Despite the night's emotional upheaval, Victor wakes with a renewed sense of purpose. He prepares breakfast with a lighter heart, the decision to remain their steadfast father firm. As the boys bustle into the kitchen, their laughter and energy lift his spirits. "What's for breakfast, Dad?" Milo asks. "Pancakes, of course," Victor replies, smiling. The storm of the previous night fades, replaced by the clarity of his love and commitment. This is his family. While maintaining a normal routine for the boys, Victor continues his search for answers about his ex-partner's disappearance. He revisits places they frequented, asking discreet questions. "Have you seen her?" he inquires at old haunts. Each dead end fuels his determination. The quest becomes a delicate dance, balancing his love for the boys with the need to find the truth. Yet he remains vigilant, knowing the answers he seeks are crucial for them all. Support comes from unexpected places. Neighbors, old friends, even his boss offer help, providing small clues and companionship. "You're doing great, Victor. We're here if you need anything," and reassures him. He finds solace in these gestures, realizing he doesn't have to face this alone. The community rallies behind him, each act of kindness bolstering his resolve. Victor understands now that it's not just about finding answers, but also about the strength and unity. Days turn into weeks, but Victor's hope doesn't wane. Each moment with the boys reinforces his decision to keep pushing forward. Every laugh, every hug makes the struggle worth it. He files the documents away, knowing that while the truth is important, it's the present moments that matter most. "We're a family," he tells the boys during dinner. Their smiles are his reward, their happiness his mission. The journey continues, but with hope and love.